This is Unleash the Power of Age. I'm Jennifer-Lee Levitz for the Rose Baker Center, and today we're having a chat with a very nice man named Kevin Carey, who is volunteering his time with us at the Rose Baker Center.
I'm just, first of all, so grateful to be back in this city that I love. And 30 years in Pennsylvania, I've just been longing to come back home. But all the way back then, I ended up leaving. I got recruited in gymnastics. I competed in college. And well, after that, after my gymnastics career, I
have to ask what you did in gymnastics.
Well, I got recruited onto a national championship team, East Stroudsburg University.
Okay.
They were Division II champs, and Coach Miles Avery was our coach.
Wow.
He coached the last few Olympics. So the best experience of my life, and I met a lot of wonderful people, and it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm. So you were in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, after that I ended up, after my gymnastics career, I ended up going to Bible college and seminary, and I was in the ministry. So I had pastored for a number of years out there. And out of the 30 years, about half the time I was near Philly, the other half near Pittsburgh. So the greatest highlight of it all are my daughters. Jordan is 21. And Laura is 17, and they live out in Pittsburgh. And I'm actually flying out to see him this week, so I'm kind of giddy about that.
Oh, that's great.
And
that's great.
So I'm just so thankful to be back home after all these years. But anyways, after the parish ministry, I was actually spent a lot of time over the last couple decades working with hospice. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's been very meaningful work. And the last year before coming back home, I was a chaplain in hospice near Philly, and finally came back home. And I'm with VNA now.
You are doing some time, so to speak, at the Rose Baker Center. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's my heart. By the way, Lucy Sheehan, just very helpful. Sheila, custodian, and Mike has been invaluable in helping with some of the setting up PowerPoint presentations and things. But yeah, I've just through 30 years of professional development, what I've been doing professionally, I've actually found some principles that really help people, whether they be bereaved individuals or whether it's somebody struggling with an addiction. For example, I'm doing an Alzheimer's caregiver support group on Wednesday afternoons. So that's the great thing about the senior center that I've got to see so far. There's a lot of wonderful people, and the great thing is that there's room for everybody.
Really? That's what I find.
Yeah, and I just want to do my part, and I know that, for example, in grief has become kind of my expertise, and there's a set of principles that I've discovered over the last few decades doing it that really apply to every grief-stricken individual. And the individuals on my current caseload, the ones that are applying that, are having a lot less emotional and spiritual pain in their grief journey than those that just try to hold it in and be strong and go it alone. And the other thing I've found is that there's an allotted amount of emotional and spiritual pain that's already resident in the grief experience.
Sure, you got to. There's no getting around it.
Yeah.
You just kind of got to go through it.
Yeah, and it's not something, it's not linear, right? It's something you carry with you.
And it resonates, and I have a little bit of that myself. So I find that it goes up and down, it comes and goes, it's experiential.
And you know what? Jennifer, for me, it's sacred. When one's loved one passes, just lost a patient today, and to be allowed by a family to be present with them in that sacred place is just so. I can't even put into words. And the whole thing is that we need each other, and I know, like in my own life, I've had times when I've been just so broken, and I needed others to come alongside and kind of carry me. And that's really the great thing about Wednesday afternoons is, I got a guy that lost his wife, and we've been just really seeing a lot of good things coming out of that, as far as how he's doing, and also the Alzheimer's support group. And so basically the whole thing is that for a caregiver or a bereaved person or someone that is providing care for someone that needs help, the most important thing is self-care. And that's really the hot button right there.
Right.
And the fact that we're all multifaceted, that we're not just physical, but we're intellectual, and we're emotional, and we're social beings. And you know what? Spirituality is a huge one, because most folks, they just think, oh, religious. Oh, he's religious. And what I've found, Jennifer, is that there's a huge difference between religion and spirituality.
Really?
And you know what? What I found, like in my take on it, is that religion is nothing other than, the expression of one's faith through a community. But spirituality, every single heart has yearnings and has intuitions and the need to love and to be loved, and everybody's spiritual. And in some of the paradigm that I've kind of adopted is that I just leave that open to the person. And it's such rewarding work, and all that, everything that I've learned professionally, I just want to give back. I just want to do my part and join everybody, because we know it takes a village, right?
Right.
You know that the strength of the wolf is in the pack, right?
Right. So down at our pack at Rose Baker, if somebody wanted to see you, if somebody who's seeing this today says, oh, I'm taking care of my mother who has Alzheimer's, or oh, I lost someone recently, and there hasn't been anyone that I felt I could really talk to. He sounds like a nice guy. He sounds unthreatening, whatever. So how do they go about being in touch with you?
Well,
at Rose Baker.
In the words of Bob Barker, come on down. I'm there every Wednesday at 1:30, or just call the Rose Baker Senior Center, and they'll record the name and the number.
Okay.
And when I come in there, they'll clue me in. So even if you don't feel ready to come down, but gee, you'd like an encouraging phone call or something, whatever it is, we're here to accommodate it.
So you're only there the one day.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoons.
Wednesday afternoons, and you do either or both of your avenues, the grief or the caregiver.
Yeah, and the caregiver, we haven't had anybody come out.
Really?
So when I'm done, providing the grief support, I cut out of there. But I'll wait around there.
I think that a lot of people think that the Rose Baker Center is just for little old ladies with walkers who play bingo and come in to buy the discounted, I say this all the time, I'm sorry for people who've heard it before, but it's true. People think it's just for buying discount trash bags. But seniors are for anybody from the age of 50 up. And you don't have to be even 50 to be involved at Rose Baker. With all the programs and all the possibilities going on there, for one person comes for taking a program, and they turn around and they give a program.
Yeah.
There are almost no what's the word I want? Not barriers, but everything sort of mushes together.
Yeah.
There's a flow, and it's a surprise, and it's multidimensional, and I'm there almost every day for one reason or another now that I'm doing the show.
Yeah.
And I find that there's room for everybody.
There really is, and that's really what my heart is. You know, we may not have it all together, but together we have it all.
What do you mean?
That's like a mantra with support.
I like
You know,
it.
it's not as much being dependent as much as being interdependent.
There you go.
And each person has their own autonomy and you know, and respected, you know, place that they're coming from.
You know what you're making me think of? That as much as there are people who need help, there are people who need to help. There are people who need to give that help as much as the people who need the help.
Find the need and meet it, find a hurt and heal it.
Whoa, you're full of them, aren't you?
How many more you want?
I don't. Kevin, we're almost. That went fast.
Wait, we got to get through the rest of this stuff. I'm just kidding.
I think we did. I think we did. I mean, you know how to say what it is you're about. Is there any last thing you want to
Yeah, I just
put out there?
You know, hey, in the words of a song by Earl Foote, "Gloucester to the end," great song. That's I say the same mantra. I love this city. I love these people. They're just so, you know, cut from the real cloth, and I'm proud to be from Gloucester, and I have great hopes for the future. And like I said, I just want to do my part, and
Right.
that's why I'm here. That's why I'm down the Rose Baker Senior Center. And I would say if there's anyone that that they want to give back, that's a great place to start.
It is. So, Kevin, thank you for being here, dear.
Don't break that now.
Private joke. Today we're talking with Peg McDermott, and she is an employee of the Visiting Nurse Care, VNA, Visiting Nurse Care. I know her because she visits the Rose Baker Senior Center every week. Peg, hi.
Hi, Jennifer.
Can you tell me what VNA stands for?
Sure. It's Visiting Nurse Association, and as most people know, there are many of them in the North Shore and over the state of Massachusetts. I happen to work for VNA Care, which is it's part of a network of several communities that came together to become one. There are more than one office. The closest one to Gloucester is in Danvers. And we do a lot of different kinds of things. As most people know, we do home care, but we also do preventive health clinics. And I am at the Rose Baker Center one time a week on Wednesdays, 9:30 to 12. Sometimes I'm there a little longer, depending on how many people I see. I'm really encouraged by the community. It's a wonderful community, does a lot of things for their citizens, and especially the Rose Baker Center. Lucy Sheehan is the director. She's wonderful. The people that work there are wonderful. They have many, many different kinds of programs. They have Parkinson's exercise programs. They have a couple of social workers that work with people regarding their health care and their health care options every year. They can change their health care options, like Medicare and then a copay.
Okay, you're talking about the Shine counselors.
Yes.
They work. We have two Shine counselors.
Right.
One is Lydia, but we have Mayor Safathia
Wow.
Ramea-Taken is one of our Shine counselors.
That's right, and she's very good.
I know. She's my Shine counselor.
and Lydia is very good too.
Lydia is very good. They've both helped me a lot, and you know what? You've helped me a lot.
Oh, thank you.
A person doesn't need an appointment to see you.
No,
Is that correct?
absolutely not.
No. And I remember the day when I was feeling, I was sort of wandering around, and you said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "I don't know." And you said, "Come here and sit down." And you took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was up. And I've been denying it for a long time, even though it really runs in my family. And you got me to look at it and go to a doctor.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I'm very grateful when this happens because it makes me feel, I'm a senior citizen too, and I really especially like the Rose Baker Center because a lot of the people in charge of departments are seniors. Some of them are disabled, but they're very bright and they're there for you if you need anything. Mm-hmm. There is a social worker part-time, Anne, and they also have, they have so much for seniors. Right. Social as well as useful exercise programs too. What I do it's stated as a preventive health clinic. It is a blood pressure clinic, but I also check people's apical pulse, radial pulse. I also check to see if they have fluid in their ankles. I also listen to their lungs. I've had a few people that I've sent to the doctor with pneumonia, bronchitis,
wow.
And not that I'm happy to diagnose these, but the faster that I can assess this, the faster they can get treatment. Mm-hmm. I've had some employees of the Rose Baker come to me too very quickly, and we have talked about some of the things that have happened to them that they need medical help, and they were afraid to move forward on it. We also do diabetes screening. Mm-hmm. I have a glucometer. I can assess people's blood sugar, and as you know, that there are juvenile diabetes, but a lot of people, especially if in their family there is a genetic link to diabetes, they can become adult onset diabetics. Right. Any woman that has been a gestational diabetic, which they have a diabetes during their pregnancy and then they go back to having a normal blood sugar, can develop, easily can develop blood pressure issues as they become older. Sometimes it's a precursor to, the gestational. 90%, I wouldn't say 90%, but a good 80% of people as they age develop blood problems. And blood pressure is just, if it's in your family and you have a genetic link to it, you probably have a 50-50 chance of getting it. Right. Yes, you can do things. You can watch your salt intake. You can watch your caffeine, because caffeine, even though it gives everybody a little high when you drink it, I love coffee. Right. I would have coffee over a glass of wine anytime. Really? But I love real coffee. But I only treat myself on Sundays to real coffee. You know what? You're funny. I'm getting not only about what you just said, but you're funny. I just pushed one little button and whoop, off you went. It was great. We were meant to talk about the flu today. I know. And I want to make sure that you have too much information. I do, and I'm sorry. No, don't be sorry. It's great. It's great. So what I think the Rose Baker Flu Center has already had a vaccination with flu. Right. Yesterday. The board of the health department, the city health department, is doing flu shots in several places in the city. Right. They are. Through October. And it is still fine to get your flu shot in December, January, or February. Oh, really? It is. Because the only people that really shouldn't have a flu shot are people, a flu shot does not cause you to get the flu. And a lot of people think that's why they have a flu. But usually they're infected. It takes a couple of weeks for a flu vaccination to work. And it also takes several days for someone who's been in contact with the flu to come down with the flu.
Oh, so they could even already have it when they get the shot.
Yeah, they could already have it when they get the shot. People over the age of 65 should get what they call an enhanced flu vaccine.
Okay.
They have to say they're a senior and they want the enhanced flu vaccine, which has extra variations of different viruses. There's usually, with a flu vaccine, every year there's a new flu epidemic. So when the flu vaccine is made, it's usually the 2 or 3 top viruses that are floating around that are in the flu vaccine or an immunity to it. And for the enhanced ones, there's a couple of extra.
Oh.
So there's more than what is in the adult flu vaccine, because seniors are more sensitive to some viruses. To get the flu is, when you do get it, it's not the flu so much itself. You're out for the count for like a week. You have to drink a lot of fluids, you'll take Tylenol or whatever your physician wants you to take to reduce any fever. You need to get a lot of bed rest. You need to this is the time for your body to heal and rest. But sometimes the flu goes into bronchitis, and it can even go into pneumonia.
Into pneumonia, I know. So how do I tell the difference? How do I know I have the flu and not just a cold?
Well, you would have a headache.
Okay.
You'd have a temperature. And sometimes with colds, you don't get one.
Right.
You'd have tremendous fatigue. You might have a loss of appetite. And
Never.
now I would never have a loss of appetite either. But it's just they might have a cough, they might not, but they would feel miserable. Mm-hmm. Okay? But untreated or left, the sooner you call your physician, if you're sick for more than, let's say, a week, or even less than a week if you're a senior, mm-hmm. you should call your physician and say, I don't feel well. I have a temperature, I have a cough, I have a headache, and I'm exhausted.
Well, you know what you made me think of? I just want to remind people that you are Peg McDermott, and you are with the VNA Cares.
Network, yeah.
And I know you because you come to take care of us at the Rose Baker Senior Center.
I do.
You
Every
do.
week.
Every week.
From 9:30 to 12. We also do osteoporosis screening.
Great.
We only do that. We have to make appointments for that because it takes time.
Okay.
And
well, people will know about that ahead of time because things like that are in the newsletter.
yes.
You can get on the mailing list for the
That's
newsletter,
correct.
or you can pick one up anytime at Rose Baker when you come to buy your discounted purple garbage bags.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think under Lucy's direction and all the wonderful people that she is working there, she's meeting the needs of 80% of the community. Please take advantage of the wonderful services that are offered there. Most of them are free or minimal monies.
Well, you are one of the best services that we have there, and we have a few more minutes, and I'd like you to go back to the flu,
Right.
if you would. So someone feels, I know what I was going to ask you.
Sure.
So what is like the incubation period? Like how long does it take to, let me see. If I have the flu, am I constantly, what's the word I want?
Coughing?
Can someone get it from me?
Yes. It's airborne.
It's airborne, and so it's airborne. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Airborne and sputum.
Okay.
But there's a difference. The bad thing about the flu is you can get complications from it. The older you are, the more at risk you are. And you can get, also you could get a cold on top of the flu. I mean, if you were getting the flu, you're not helping anybody going outside,
There you go.
coughing, sniffing, dripping your nose, touching doorknobs where people touch doorknobs. Washing your hands is a very good thing, preferably with soap and water. But if you carried around those little antibacterial gels that they sell everywhere, and you carried that around before you eat, before you go, you should use it.
Yes.
People use restrooms. You should be washing your hands before and after. You could even use a little towel to open the door. I don't want everybody to get freaked out about this. If you don't feel well and you go to enclosed spaces with a lot of people coughing, that's all they need to do is just spray you with some of their saliva, or just, let's say you're shaking someone's hand. Well, you can, if you're eating, you're using that same hand. So you really need to be careful about washing your hands, not obsessive about it, but before and after eating. Sometimes at church you're doing a lot of handshaking at the peace sign.
And people come up and they kiss you.
And they kiss you and everything. Just, keep that little
affection.
antibacterial thing in your pocketbook and use the gel and just wipe your hands after. It's when we finally get winter does kind of help with the flu, because some viruses cannot expand in the cold. So if you notice, a lot of people get colds during changes of seasons.
Right.
And, but I think 90%, unless you're a child under 6 months old, or you have a bad cold with a temperature when you're going to get the flu shot, I would wait a week or so until you're feeling better. Children under 6 months don't usually get it. Young people should get it. Pregnant women should get it. I mean, you should get it. It's one of the few things that people can do to stop. It doesn't always stop an endemic flu, which is one that comes from some other country,
Right.
like the Zika virus or something like that. But it does take care of most flu respiratory issues that go around.
That's great. Well, thank you, Peggy. This went very quickly, and I didn't even get to, you know what? Well, let's do another podcast, and we'll do it about how people can take care of themselves so their immune systems are built up and they'll be less likely to get something or have it badly if they do.
All right, we can do that
All
next
right.
time.
Thank you very much, Peg
Oh, and
McDermott.
thank you for inviting me here.
It was our pleasure.
All right.